Jayanandalala Mathioli Charanam. Today we're going to talk about complete devotion, unconditional devotion, faith, and how that will lead us to the Lord. Excuse me. So I have these stories, two stories today from Amma's book, The Divine Way. I got to read them again. I've read them so many times, but I got to read this book again during the past weeks. And it was nice. Whenever I had little time, I just go back to these books. It's like one pot puree, it's like so many nice, lot of fragrance, different varieties. And it kind of structures our life bit. And there are two stories that stood out from this book that I wanted to share with you all today. It really is incredible. Whatever happens, whatever life throws at us, we should never let go of her feet. That's the basis of this. Let's say everything is taken away from us. We are left with nothing. Even then, we are still holding on to her feet because she is everything. In the end of the day, she is everything. This everything that we feel is not everything. She is everything. So this story is from the Skanda Puranam. That is what Amma says in her book. And she starts off by saying that when we all pray for something, we pray for so many things, and we're denied it. Life denies it. We work hard. We're still caught in confusion, and nothing seems to work. We're in turmoil. At that time, it's very crucial for us to say or do stuffs that are against our dharma and righteousness. We would say, this is not it. I do so much. I do this puja, I do that puja, I do this ritual, I do that. And I'm being so good. I'm such a good person. I have not harmed anyone. These thoughts come. And to make it worse, people around us will sow that seed of thought also. Oh, you're such a nice person. You've been doing so much. You don't deserve this. What have you done? You don't deserve this. So that is a seed that the Lord He's putting all these people in there, to make it worse for us. But our challenge is to beat up all down, all these doubts and these sympathy cards that we receive from others down. And we stand up straight and tall. And we're still holding on to his feet. Her feet. That is what the story is based on. Let's see what she's talking about. It. It reminds me of one thing that Ambal said. Ambal said one time, she said there was a person who was very devoted to her. And when he left, he gave her a whatever tambulam, everything, and he came and brought flowers and whatever for the ambal. And after he left, she just made a statement. She said, இவெல்லாம் என்னோட கடைசி வரலும் வருவாளான்னு பார்க்கலாம். I'll translate it for you. Let's see if all these people walk with me till the end or are stuck with me till the end. That's life, all right? We're thrown into a lot of situations where we can have our mind take control and pull us away. Understand, in all this, she is holding your hand and she's leading and you're following. Suddenly, if you choose to let go of her hand and leave, it's not her fault. Remember, she's not going to run and come back after you. You left her. You have to run back and come to her. That's how it works. But she is going to be disappointed and sad that you left her and went. This is how it has been in the Puranas, right? This is a fact. So our prayer should be that no matter what, we should never let go of her hand. Challenges happen to everyone. We should make ourselves equipped that we do not get affected by these challenges. We can walk through that fire without feeling the burn. That is possible. When we have bhakti, she takes away the pain. So you won't even feel like you're walking on fire. Now the story, let's come to the story. There was a trader named Nandapattirar. And he's a very big devotee of Lord Shiva. For him, the morning starts with rituals and prayers and songs and chanting the Lord's name every day. So he has a lingam, he decorates it as pleasure in doing all that seva for the Lord. That is how his morning starts. That is his duty. And he has a beautiful family. And this is how he starts every day. He makes a garland with all the green vilvam male he makes, and he adorns the Lord every day with that. So he sits and makes the garland for the Lord every day. One fine day, his son just suddenly passes away. Got some disease and passed away. No hint. It came as a shock for everybody. He was devastated. And after a few days, his wife also passes away. Can you even imagine what this devotee is going through? No, we cannot. Right? Two of the only people in his life. Both left like that. And he's a devotee. He's not any person who says, I don't believe in God. I'm not going to do this. Why waste time in rituals? No. But Nandapattirar was devotee, a very hard devotee of Lord Shiva. He had him here. He worshipped him every day. He took effort and did. Now he was sitting there, lost, still thinking about the Lord. And now his wife is also gone. Devastated, poor soul. Now his neighbor, he had a neighbor named Satyavratan. Now what he's good at, he's a person who gossips, who talks a lot. He likes to understand what is going in the neighborhood. He's not a big believer. He feels Nandapattirar is wasting a lot of time. He always, when he saw, the bell, money, in the morning, he'll know Nandapattirar is doing his puja. What a waste of time this man is what he would be thinking. Early in the morning, he wakes up. Could have slept, got a little more rest. So that's the kind of a person Satyavratan was. And he was not for what Nandapattirar was. And he loved to give advice. We've seen that a lot in this world. Those who love to talk, love to advise others also, whether they follow it or not. They love to give free. That's very, we see that a lot. We wouldn't have asked them, but advice will come. Can you imagine if you asked? And the same situation, if had happened to them, they would be in a very bad situation. But some situation happens to another person, they'll be there first in line to advise. You should have done this. You should have done that. Focus on this. God is there. At that time, God will come from nowhere. But when they are down in the drain, they will not know where God is. Advising everybody is so easy. But following it is very difficult. So Satyavratan was something like that. Huh? Something similar. So he comes, he walks in, the neighbors lost their loved one. So he's there to, give his condolences. So he's there, he walks in and he says, Ayya, Nandapattirar, I pity you. I have not seen anyone like you who has done so much service for the Lord and who is in such a pitiable state. What a pity, he says. Why did he do this to you? I don't get it. Why did the Lord do this to you? What did he get out of this? You should not be going through this. I pity you. One should be devoted, no doubt. But I think you were a little too much. கொஞ்சம் ஓவரா பண்ற. ரொம்ப ஓவரா பண்ணிட்ட. Cast aside all these rituals now. At least probably you learned your lesson. Cast it all aside and lead a joyful life. At least from now on. Nandapattirar, who is looking down the whole time. He lifted his head up and looked at him, tears rolling down his cheeks. And he had his hands, he covered his ears. And he said, Ishvara, I've lost my two dear ones. Is it not your karunai, your divine glance, your kindness that has helped me stand even after this devastating incidents? I'm standing straight and strong because of you, Swami. And this man is talking nonsense. Taking him away. Take him away, he says. I don't want him here. Obviously, the neighbor's not moving. So Nandapattirar gets up and just leaves his own house. He cries loudly and he leaves. He ran outside crying, kept walking and he reached the Shiva temple. Oh, kind one, please answer my questions. Please help me. Why do I have these ups and downs? And why are you sending people to mock my bhakti? Why is this happening? What do I tell him? He's asking me questions. What do I tell him? Give me answers, he says. So here is a devotee who has no answer to give. He wants to defend his Lord. He has no doubts, but he just doesn't know what to do, what to say. He says, till you come, I'm not going to eat or drink anything. I want answers. I want to know how to defend you. So he sits outside the temple and he waits. 2 days, 3 days, no answer. Nobody came up. 4th day, a small boy comes. Small boy comes and sits beside him. Looks so tejas, beautiful face. But he had leprosy marks all over him. That beauty. Even with that, he was so beautiful. But Nandapattirar noticed those leprosy marks. And he looked at him with a pitiable, very concerned face. And he said, Sho Ennappa, what happened? Why do you have all these marks? Ishvara, why did you trouble him? He says. Why do you have to undergo all this at this age? He asks the small boy. What a suffering. And then the boy smiles and starts speaking. When he started speaking, it was like nectar flowing out of the pot. It was not like another boy of that age. He was just 8 years old. It was mesmerizing, sweet words. He had not eaten for 4 days. He had not, had any sip of liquid also for 4 days. But he knew that this was different, what he heard. He could have been angry, could have been irritated. But he didn't feel any of that. Those words that came out of the boy's mouth was like so, it was quenching his thirst. The hunger was gone. He felt so content and so fulfilled and so happy. And the boy started speaking. He said, The world has four kinds of people. Nandapattirar, he says. Do you want me to tell you? The first one is they enjoy all comforts and luxuries and happiness that they have earned. And then when they die and come back for their next life, they suffer. Do you know why? Because the happiness that they earned in that life, they didn't do anything good. They didn't do anything good. So the good that we do is what saves us in our next life. So you'll be thinking, right? They're so happy. They're so happy. They're doing everything wrong. They're so happy. What is happening? This is the answer to that question. They've earned it. They've earned the happiness, but they are not doing the right thing. They're not giving back. They're not doing any good deeds. It's a lot of people with a lot of riches and material things. They'll be only collecting more and more and more. What do they give back? Even if a beggar comes and shows his hand, he'll be, go away. They won't even feel like going and donating to the orphanage or to the old age home or to anything, you know? But they have abundance of happiness and luxuries filled in their life. That is the thing, the Maya. They get caught in that Maya. They're enjoying it. Nobody to stop me. Then reality hits. Next Janma, right? That's what he's saying. So there is one set of people. The first one is who enjoys all happiness and comforts in the world. But when they die, they come back and they suffer. The second kind are people who are so nice. You've seen some people are very nice. They stick to dharma, righteousness, that, this, that. They suffer a lot. They suffer a lot. And we keep saying, oh, why are you suffering? You're so nice. You have not harmed even an ant. Why should you suffer? Why? Because the previous life, they did not do any good deed. They didn't earn anything. So in this life, at least they're being good. They're at least taking all the merits. No. Only if they gain it, they will be able to consume it next life. The fruit. But suffering, they have to endure. Because that also they earned and came. That is why we have to be conscious about our present. What we do now, here, matters. That is in our hands. How we think, how we grow, what we do with our lives, what we do with our lives. Who are the people around us? Where are we? Who are we spending time with? Is this worth it? Whose hand are we holding? Now, this matters. So this second kind of people have not done anything good in the previous life, so endure all the sorrows in the present life. That is what the boy is saying. The third one, he says, the third one, they have happiness both in previous life and this life. That is like they have earned a lot of merits. They are very conscious of what they're doing. They've been good, consciously good. They have earned. So they're enjoying the good times. The fourth one, suffer both here, now, and later in the later life. Because they never follow or stick to anything. They continue to do wrong. They keep doing wrong. That's the worst category to be in, right? Ignorant. We have been given all the Puranas and scriptures and stories from which we learn what to take and what not to, and we still keep doing wrong. There's no excuse. Then he says, we are witness to all the events that happen in our life. We have to evaluate, introspect, and clean ourselves then and there. No waiting for tomorrow. If you have to apologize, do it now. If you have to say, if you have to seek forgiveness, do it now. If you have to correct your mistakes, do it now. There's no tomorrow. No waiting. Waiting is only adding to your, you know what, merits. Chitraguptan is writing everything, remember? No escape. So whatever we are going through, whether it's a very difficult manager, whether it's a difficult work environment, whether it's a difficult home environment, whether it's difficult life, whatever is our earned from previous karmas. We should always be aware and cautious. We have to be cautious about what we do, what we speak, how we react to situations. We will be thrown into different situations in our lives, and where do we stick? Do we stick to the truth, or do we stick to the situation that is convenient? Convenience versus truth. I'm telling you, sticking to the truth is the most hardest. It's the most hardest. Ask Arjuna, he will tell you. Poor thing had such a big problem, right? Listen to controlling the mind. Anybody can relate to it. He's like facing all his loved ones. He was the best student. He was the best grandson. He's the most jollyful, playful child growing up. Very close to Bhishma. Very close to his teacher Drona. And here he is facing all his loved ones with his arrow pointed at them. Can you even imagine what he was going through? From a human point of view, yes. But then again, with complete surrender and devotion, detachment, he could have thrown all that aside and stood by the Lord. Not easy. But yeah, achievable. Karna could do it without Lord Krishna being beside him or teaching him the Gita. He did it. Because he knew the duty is more powerful than relationships. Knowing fully well that he is fighting against his own brothers, Karna, he did it. Yeah, Arjuna couldn't do it. He needed so many talks and Gita Upadesham and time from Lord Krishna. So much time was spent with him, making him understand. And the Lord was very patient. The Lord is so patient. Our prayers have to be not to be like Arjuna and to be like Karna. Yes, to make the Lord's job easier. Let us make his job easier. After all, it's only him, right? Where are we going? Nowhere. And when you stick to him, you know it's the right side. No explanations. You're standing for Dharma, the truth. That's it. Nobody can pinpoint fingers. There's so many plus points. Now, all this, the child says, and Nandapattirar slowly opens his eyes because there was silence. He opens his eyes. He was like, wow, all my answers. I got all my answers. Thank you. And he opens his eyes to see the child had vanished. He was not there. He was no ordinary boy. He was Lord Shiva himself who came to solve his beloved devotees' questions and solve his worries, confusion, and give him some clarity, right? Lord is always there. When you call out to him, he's there. Another story from the same book, The Divine Way, which Sri Amma has written. In this story, she says there are two devotees. One is a rishi, a sadhu, and the other one is a normal devotee, a householder, a family man. Now, the sadhu is in the mountains in Himalayas doing his penance. And suddenly Narada Muni appears. He's walking past, singing Narayana's glories. The sadhu immediately opens his eyes and he realizes that's Narada Muni, and he says, Munivar, you're here. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to see you, he says. Now, Narada Muni is not visible to everybody. There's a reason why he was visible to him. We'll know why now. So he was very happy to see me. Went and fell at Narada Muni's feet and got his blessings. Now now he says, can you please find out from Lord Narayana when he will give me darshan? The sadhu asks Narada Muni. Now, I understand why he asks Narada Muni, because Narada Muni goes to Lord Narayana whenever he wants, right? He gets to see the Lord whenever he wants. And the Lord is very kind to Narada. He says, can you please, whenever you go and see the Lord, ask him, when will he give me darshan and get me out of this material world? He says, the sadhu. Narada agrees. He says, I will give him your message and give you the answer, he says. Then he's strolling and he goes along the fields. And then he sees this family man, a common householder. He's sitting under a tree and meditating. Hearing Narada's singing Narayana glories, he opens his eyes and he sees the Narada Muni. So excited, he runs and jumps and excited, he falls at his feet. And Narada Muni is happy, gives his blessings. He's so thrilled. He's like, you get to see the Lord every time. I am so happy to see you. Seeing you, it seems like I'm seeing Lord Narayana himself, he says. So Narada was very happy. He says, what can I do for you? He says, can you please ask the Lord when I can see him? I want to see him. He says, sure, I will ask him. So the Narada comes. He comes to the Lord. Lord Narayana, as usual, Araga, he's lying Ananda Shayanam on the Adi Session. A beautiful view on the Milky Ocean. Narada comes and pays his respects and he asks the Lord. He says, I saw two of your devotees, my Lord, today. They had questions. The sadhu wanted to know when you would give him a darshan. And the householder also wanted to know the same thing. So the Lord laughs loudly. He says, is that so? Okay, so tell the sadhu that he should continue with his penance for another 7 births. Then I will come and give him darshan. He says, very casually, he said, 7 births. So Narada says, okay, Swami. And what about the householder? What do I tell him? Narada asks. The Lord says, he should continue with his worship and meditation, whatever he's doing. Let him continue. He's sitting under the tree, right? How many leaves are in that tree? That much janma he has to take. As many leaves in that tree he's sitting under, that many lives. After that, I will see him. That is exhausting to even hear. Now Narada comes back and first he goes to the sadhu and he's eagerly waiting to hear the news from Narada Muni. Sadhu comes and he asks him, yes, Munivar, what did the Lord say? So Narada tells him, the Lord says that you have to do penance for another 7 janmas, births, and then he will come and give you darshan. The sadhu was shocked. He looked at him and he said, do you even know what a penance is? I'm sitting here in the Himalayas in this cold weather and I'm doing penance and you're telling me 7 janmas? One life, you know how hard it is? Have you ever sat in this cold and done any penance? It's so easy for you, no? What have you done? He says. Narada is like, hey, yo, where did I come? Already Narada is a very funny, yes, this funny wittiness to him. And you're saying a whole lifetime and 7 lifetimes? And you have the guts to come and tell me this message? He says. And after that, your Lord will appear, is it? Just wait, see what I do. And he goes, runs and finds a stick and he's running by Narada to hit him. Now, Narada, he can disappear, which he does. He just disappears from there. Oh, Lord, poor Narada. Narada escapes from there. Narrow escape, isn't it? And now Narada's worried. Now, what is his worry? Here for 7 janmas, this man had this reaction. There I have to go and give him the worst news to the householder, right? I have to tell him that as many leaves in that tree, he has to take rebirths, and then the Lord will see him. Swami Narayana, what position have you put me in? And he goes with his, he stands at a distance now. He's not very close to the householder. He stands at a very, even, very far away so that this man cannot hit him. And he screams from there. And the man is so excited to see him. He opens his eyes and he's like, Munivar, you've come. Come here, he says. Why are you standing so far away? He says, no, I'm very fine here. I just have a message for you. Yes, what did the Lord say, Munivar? He says, you have to do many, many, many janmas of penance and meditation. Yeah? Okay. As many leaves on that tree that you're sitting under? He says. Okay, I'll leave, all right, he says. To his surprise, the householder is jumping in joy. He's jumping. He's so happy. I must take rebirth and the Lord will see me, he says. The Lord will see me? You said the Lord will see me, Munivar. And you said he knows I'm doing penance. What more do I need? And then Narada was like, okay, thank God. This is different. And slowly approached towards him. He says, yeah, I didn't understand your reaction. You understood what I told you, right? So he says, yes, I understood. I understood very well. You told me that the Lord knows that I'm meditating on him. And he said that he will come and see me. I don't care how many births I have to take. He said, okay. Narada was like, this is confusing, but okay. Okay, you enjoy your moment. And he's still shocked. And he's still not over. This devotee was jumping in joy and he's continuously repeating what Narada said and laughing and crying and all the emotions were so, you know, he's showing it out and Narada was just shocked. It's like, this is a devotee. This is a true devotee. And Lord Narayana is watching all this. He couldn't wait any longer because this devotee pleased him, won him over. And Lord Narayana came and stood in front of him. So forget the many, many leaves of rebirths that he has to take. Lord Narayana was right there in front of him. And Narada was like, this is not fair. This is really not fair. And the devotee was so happy. He fell at Lord's feet and got his whatever he wanted fulfilled. He was not a sadhu. He was a family man. He had his duties. He did everything properly. And he achieved what the sadhu wanted. Though the sadhu had left all the material world and sitting in the Himalayas and meditating and doing his penance, he still had expectations. He had expectations. He thought he was the best. Thought he deserved the Lord to come. That ego. This man didn't have the ego. He was simple, humble, no expectation, unconditional bhakti. So he got the Lord. With that unconditional bhakti, he pleased the Lord, and there he was. He got his darshan, what he wants. He got mukti. Narada was a little annoyed with the Lord. It's like, Prabhu, this is not right, he says. So you told me something else and you just did exactly the opposite. Now you proved me as a liar. What do I do about that? He says. So Lord Narayana says, Narada, wait, let me explain. Look here. And he's trying to pacify Narada, Lord Narayana, trying to pacify his very beloved devotee. Narada is very beloved. See the number of lives this man should have taken. It's true. Whatever I told you was not a made-up thing. It is true. As per his chart, it is true. But when he was given that message, did you see his reaction? Did you see what he did? Was he angry? Was he upset? That reaction is what brought me down to him, Narada. With all that pure love, I forgot all the rules, Narada. I forgot all the regulations. Nothing is more important to me than to give him darshan. I can go against my own words for my dear devotee. Narada, you should know this by now. Why are you a liar? I'm the liar now, right? Because you're just a messenger, he says. And Narada's like, oh, that is true. Yeah, that is true. I'm not the liar. You're just a mere messenger. I went against my words. And I can do that many times for my devotees. You see what happens to unconditional love, devotion, faith, without ego, without fear of what the society will think, pleasing another person. Without all those aspects, when we think about the Lord is there to change our charts and come, erase everything and come and be beside us. It's up to us to understand this and lead our lives that way so that we bring the Lord to us. Because he'll run and come. He'll come. She'll come. Amba loves us. This has to always be in our minds when we take decisions in our lives. It's very important that we have to stand by the truth. And to stand by the truth, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. But truth is where the Lord is. Truth is where she is. Hope you enjoyed this session. Mathioli Charanam, Jai Nandalala.